Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to the Finding Happiness podcast. I'm your host, Bobby.
Co-host Sam.
And today's special guest we have
Alex Hollander. What's up, guys?
my man. Did you hit that? Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, Josiah over there. You know, sometimes we'll pop him up like right here. You'll see him pop up. But he's the one that's in charge of everything on the other side. So you might hear some sound effects.
Josiah is really cool. If you look at him, he has like the Bass Pro Shop hat on.
And it's pink because of October.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Right?
You're like on trend.
I hope so. I know. I'm just kidding. They're going to be like, what do you mean by that, bro? Nothing, man. Nothing. I take it back. So today we have Alex in the studio. This one's cool because we met him a few months back and we worked together. You know, like he comes in and bounce off ideas. He'll have stuff written and ideas, and we'll record it and chop it up for him for, social media. So it's pretty cool to get him into the studio for the podcast to talk about him and what he's doing out in his neighborhoods. So where are you exactly out of?
I'm out in Santa Clarita. The Santa Clarita Valley was basically 4 different little towns: Canyon Country, Valencia, Saugus, and Newhall. Some people like to throw Castaic in there. But yeah, that's kind of where I operate and do my real estate. I like to call myself the face of Santa Clarita, real estate.
Right. And you do. We do see you all over, man. The fairs to like their events, you can see his banner with his face on there. So
yeah,
he is the face, bro.
Trying to be, yeah. Dude, real quick, did you hear about Blink-182?
Okay, so it was like 5 a.m. roughly, and then it popped up. Someone posted it, and then I seen it, and then I texted. So I have a group text with like my family. Popped it in there. My mom, everybody's in there. They're like, "Yeah, bro, we're gonna do it." And then yesterday, got the text. No, man, the tickets are like $600.
$600
for the standing up ones.
Oh my gosh!
And he was like, and then here goes my sister. You're getting old, bro. Like you can't stand up at a fucking concert.
That's funny.
Oh man, how do you feel about that?
Well, I didn't know about the $600 tickets. Yeah. I feel like they know that their core audience is now leveled up a little bit, probably, and hold down legit jobs.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're younger when we listen to them. So now, we can afford it.
Yeah, but I was hyped.
It's kind of cool because I was telling Sam about it. Travis Barker got married to Kourtney Kardashian. Tom DeLonge was doing his stuff with Angel in the Airwaves. He was shooting stuff with Peter McKinnon from YouTube, like a whole documentary series. And then Mark Hoppus, I believe he's still like producing behind the scenes with a bunch of different artists. But now it's like, oh yeah, okay, high school just got that again. I wasn't too huge on them until I think later on.
Right.
I was more of, I guess, a Newfound Glory fan.
For sure, okay.
There's always rivals, bro. I don't know. You like Blink, you like Newfound, and then you liked MXPX. You're like, who's MXPX? Exactly. Yeah.
That's funny.
But is there any concerts actually happening out in the Santa Clarita Valley that you know?
As far as concerts out there, no. I mean, we're not really a concert town.
Okay.
We typically will have like the big city community events where they'll bring kind of like a cover band to come out. I think that's the most of what you get. I have heard of some like underground shows that they host, at different little locations and stuff like that, but definitely no venue worthy of a Blink-182 style concert out there,
So let's go ahead. We're going to dive deep into who Alex is. So right now, currently, what are you doing? What's going on in business and in your life?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm a real estate agent. So that's kind of where all the focus is right now. Definitely trying to have a niche market in Santa Clarita. I do real estate in LA and in the San Fernando Valley, out here in the Antelope Valley where you guys are based. I would say that's probably 30% of my business, and the other 70% is coming strictly from Santa Clarita. And that's kind of where I target, and I do all of my marketing, all my advertising, targeted ads that we were talking about earlier, just things like that. But yeah, it's definitely community driven. There's a little part of town that I live in called Canyon Gardens. It's right around an elementary school called Pine Tree. Shouts to Pine Tree. And at Pine Tree, I call it the Pine Tree area. I hyper focus on that neighborhood.
Okay.
And I have market share in that neighborhood. So no other realtor or realtor teams. And that's important because there's like teams out there. There's 15, agents working for a team, and you
Dang,
see them all over
dude.
the place. Yeah, but no other team or realtor has sold more homes in that neighborhood than me this year in 2022.
That's what's up.
And that's strictly because I focused on that neighborhood. I knocked on every door, called every home, and just kind of stay top of mind in that neighborhood.
Do you feel like that? Just staying on that topic real quick, being hyper focused in a neighborhood like that and around where you're at is important, or is that something you'd recommend for other agents to kind of do?
Yeah, if you're in my neighborhood.
Yeah, get out of his neighborhood.
Yeah.
But for the agents out there, and you're looking to start farming, not sure how to do it and stuff like that. I mean, start where you're most.
Start with the street,
Okay.
one street, and just kind of expand from there. When I started doing real estate, literally 14 months ago, and you can ask anybody who knows me, I set out with a goal of walking down my street, walking through my neighborhood, and having people know, oh, that's Alex, the real estate agent. That was my goal. Small little area. I wasn't trying to take over the world. I was trying to take over my street. And then it expanded from there to the blocks behind it, right? And I think that's good. I mean, that was me goal setting. Like, I want everybody on this street, on this little right here, to know who I am, and I think right now I'm definitely at that point for sure where they know who I am. And now we're just like in expansion mode.
There we go. Now you guys do buying and selling.
Absolutely.
So you help listing and then help the buyers buy, and then they turn into sellers.
Yeah,
they really do. Naturally, they turn into
there's
sellers.
no discrimination. I mean, it's all the same, buyers, sellers. Yeah, they're both good.
I asked that because I have seen other agents like on social media where it's like only listing agents and that's all they do. I'm pretty sure they have like their buyers, assistants, or agents that just don't promote it.
Right.
But that's why I asked, just to make it clarification, that if you guys have listings or you're looking to buy a home in Santa Clarita Valley, he does help out. Do you have a team at all, or is it
just my wife and I? I mean, I definitely consider my wife part of the team. She has a real estate license. She's on the back end, so I'm the face of the business. She hands all of the back end paperwork, escrow stuff, and I feel like you need somebody like her, like to cross the T's, dot the I's. I'm fast paced. I'm always moving. I'm thinking of new things. I'm the innovator, and she's the detail logistical person. It works for us, and she has a wealth of experience. She works with probably 16 top producing agents throughout the valley.
There you go.
And so I have that experience behind my back. So she, if I mess anything up, she knows how to fix it.
That's what's up. I have that too. So I exactly know how that is.
Shouts to
What
Amanda.
is that? What's the sound? Hey. So I like that. Okay, so now I'm going to pay attention to that. Okay.
I know, we're looking at
We're like, hey, what is that?
What did you
over
just
there?
How did you even hear that?
I know. So that's one thing we've talked about before. Should we have the headphones on? Should we not have the headphones on? So maybe next one we'll try it out. But if not, they'll be able to listen to it or hear it. Okay, so how long have you been an agent for?
About 14, 15 months now.
Okay.
Yeah, so technically I'm a rookie. But I tell everybody that asks, because a lot of people when they reach out, especially my first couple months, they would say, oh, how long have you been in the business? And it was always kind of like a point of contention because you don't want to lie to people, but you're a rookie. And like, if people know you're a rookie, do they want to work with a rookie, right? But as I've kind of grown and kind of developed our business, one of the things I tell people who ask is years in the game definitely don't equate to experience. I mean, there are agents out here, I'm not trying to throw shade on anyone, but there's agents out here who've been in the business 20, 30 years, and they will not be shy about reminding you of that.
Yep.
But you look at their stats, and they've done 3 transactions in 2022. You know what I mean? 2 last year. And so, there are a lot of young rookie agents. When I say young, I don't mean an age. I just mean, just got their license or maybe got licensed within the last year, who are really killing the game. And every transaction that you do is kind of like years of experience, just kind of, you multiply it by 10 really. And so if you have 10 transactions under your belt, you have a wealth of experience,
Yeah.
and there are agents out here who have way more than 10,
So how do you handle? So for an agent, how would they handle that objective? So if say you had someone ask them, how long you been in the business? And they're like, damn it, I've only just got my license, but I'm.
Well, you got 2 options. You could lie, which I wouldn't recommend. I think what they tell you, and not real estate school, but I guess a broker would say, well, you're part of a brokerage. Like I'm part of Century 21, right? Say, oh, Century 21 has been around, X amount of years, and my broker's been around, and that's my team behind me. For me, how I got around it is my wife. I mean, she's been in real estate over 4 years. So I always kind of pitched it like we were a team. I'm a new agent focused on the marketing side. She handles the escrows, and she's been around 4 years. She works with what I told you earlier.
Yeah.
She works with top producing agents. And then I have a background in property management, so I can always kind of smooth that as well. And say I've been in property management 10 years, which is kind of like an offshoot of real estate.
But it's still in the same industry. Okay, so it's pretty much if you don't have the experience, then use your office's experience, their credibility.
Yeah. And then your life experience.
Yeah.
But
I haven't sold any houses, but man, I sold some cars, bro. Yeah.
Right.
I've been selling since I was a kid.
Right.
So a little over a year in real estate. What did you do before?
I was a pastor of a church. Yeah. I was over at a church out in the San Fernando Valley for 4 years. I was the associate pastor, so I'm not the guy on stage preaching. I was kind of behind the scenes, kind of like if you watch Game of Thrones, I was like the king's hand,
Okay.
And that was a cool role. And I did youth ministry for a long time. Youth ministry is basically like high school church for the high schoolers. And that's fun because you get to kind of connect and they keep you young. And that's where a lot of like the creative ideas that I think I bring forward now, as far as like events and just trying to think outside the box. I think it comes from that for sure.
That's important. Like, I guess being like hands-on with high schoolers and kind of just seeing where they're at and where life is, because within a few years they'll be young adults. Which turn into now clients.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy that the transition, but how was that experience?
The church experience?
Yeah.
When people think of church, I know before I got involved and found my own faith and became a Christian is what I am. Before that happened, I used to think of church as kind of what I remembered as a kid, which is kind of stuffy, repeating things that I didn't quite understand and just sitting down, standing up, sitting down, standing up, and then doing that for an hour and bouncing, right?
Yeah.
When I found my faith, I came into this new church environment or setting, and I was like, whoa, this is like legit, like a concert, you know what I mean? And like, I could relate to the guy on stage. He's saying things that I relate with, right? And that kind of led me on that path of like faith, finding my faith, which is great. That's where I kind of have a lot of my, my core values and beliefs come from my faith. And I say all that to say like, the experience was cool because it's not what I thought of when I first got into it. Right.
Yeah.
And then, just kind of seeing opportunities to kind of, church is kind of the church that I was at. They did a lot of branding. They did a lot of community outreach, community events, a lot of cool, just outside the box things. And I was a good part of that. Like I fit with that because I was able to kind of push that. So it was cool.
Which kind of led now, like you think outside the box in your business. And I've always liked churches like that where they have a lot of events and like you said, branding, it's just, they're out there in the community, just making noise. And like to them, it's spreading the word of God and stuff like that.
Right.
And that's pretty cool. How was that transition from
pastoral to real estate? Well, I took a year off.
Okay.
I didn't have the best transition. I mean, if I'm being quite honest, I during COVID, churches closed. And so with that came layoffs, and with the layoffs came me losing my job. So, I'm 2020, I'm at home, and I don't, church is kind of like a community. And when you're no longer part of that community, you're like, what do you do next? Like, where do I go? At the time I was like, not devastated, but I just didn't know where and what to do. And so I just started kind of getting back into my faith. And I realized like what I've learned about church from the church wasn't what I was reading in the Bible. Mm-hmm. So I kind of went on my own path of like, all right, this is what I think the Bible's telling me is church. So I kind of created my own church in my backyard with people in my community, right? So I was doing that for 6 months. And during that time, I was studying to get my real estate license because I needed money. Like I just needed to figure it out. And like I mentioned, my wife has been
already okay. So she was already there. Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, I'll just tag team with you. She's kind of introverted. I'm super extroverted, kind of. So it's like this will work. And So yeah, and I do think like my background in the church community goes hand in hand with real estate because it's talking to people, caring about people, making sure you put them first over yourself. I tell every single one of my clients when I first meet them on the phone, the first thing I tell them is, "Hey, I work for you. Like I'm here for you." So, you know, a lot of time they're looking for me to tell them what to do and I get that, but I remind them like I'm going to give you options and you're going to choose what to do, right? Cuz I work for you. And it's that whole servant mentality that I think I bring to my clients that kind of keeps me in good favor with them.
Nice. So for the people out there, the audience listening or watching, you're going through a transition or you got fired from a job or laid off or you just simply quit because you're tired of it. It's not always going to be easy. My transition was very easy because right timing, I think. I've heard stories of others where it's not so easy, but expect it not to be that easy. It's not supposed to be, but it is doable. You can transition from a plumber to a full-time photographer, a pastor to a real estate agent who is becoming the face of a city. You know, it's just crazy. Like, right. And it's not always the easiest thing, but yeah, shout out to you, bro. That's
dude. I would, yeah. And what you're saying is so accurate. Like, I never would have thought in 2021 that things would have turned out how they are right now. And I still have a long way to go, but income, opportunity, like my family growing together, right? Spending more time with them has all kind of been something that I didn't foresee when I lost my job. Yeah. I was devastated. Like, dude, what do I do now? You know, and that journey has been great. And you can definitely turn it around. It's not, you know, you just got to kind of put your head down and go to work.
So during that, what made you, what do you think got you through? Do you feel like it was your wife because she was there doing real estate? Or do you feel like you tried the backyard thing and you were like, okay, I tried that. It's just not getting there. It's time to, what was that on switch, do you feel like?
Well, I'm competitive.
Okay.
Right? So once I got my license, I started looking at, you know, the first thing I did is who are the top 10 agents in my company? And how did they get there? And why are they there? And I literally, the top 3, I was like, hey, let me hang out with you for a day. And I hung out with them. And I was like, no offense, guys, if you're watching, but I was like, I could do this.
Yeah.
And I could probably be better than you. And so that was my goal, and that's been my goal. I want to be the number 1 guy in my office, right? That's the goal for next year. Right now, I'm number 4. Teeter between 3 and 4, right? But 1 year in the game, like I just feel like, okay, 3 or 4 is, I did it. Number 1 is doable. Like that is an attainable goal. So that's kind of what we're going for next year, 2023.
That's good.
Nice.
Man. That's good. You want to hit them with some?
I did, and I lost it.
I can keep going, bro. Like, I'll just keep like, oh, man.
Josiah's got one.
You still attend church now?
That's a great question. So I took a little bit of a hiatus. It was just really difficult for me to find a community that I vibed with. What was really important for me, even when I was no longer part of my last church, and what I try to do in my backyard was community.
Yeah.
I needed to be in a community because I would commute from Santa Clarita, where I live, almost 40 miles to Woodland Hills.
Okay.
Right. Back and forth for my services when I was pastoring. And I couldn't find anything in my community that kind of fit my values, fit where my mind was at. Cause I had a shift in how I thought about what church was. Right. And it was just really tough. And just recently, and I'm not going to like shout out the church yet, cause it's like, it's so new, you know,
just in case he might have to backtrack.
But I just recently found somewhere where I definitely, feel like I can grow there. I don't plan on letting them know who I used to be, because that kind of changes things in that community. When people know you're a pastor, they expect a certain level of like speech, a certain level of knowledge. They want to. It's funny. I don't know if you guys are in like any faith-based like thing at all, but one thing I learned about like the faith that I follow is the minute they find out that I'm a Christian, it's like, hi, amen, brother. And like, you know,
everything changes.
Yeah, the speech changes, the attitude changes. And that's something that always kind of threw me off, because I want to be like authentic 100% of the time, not just when I'm amongst other people who think the way I think. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm just not that person. Even when I was pastoring, I I wasn't quoting scripture with every conversation, or, I try to keep it as authentically me as I could be, and yeah.
I think that's why I gravitated towards Stephen Furtick, Pastor Stephen, when I found him on YouTube 2.5 years ago. I had bad anxiety, and I was on drugs, to be honest, bro. Like during that time when I got off of everything, and he had the bouncing ball video, but it's because of the vibe. So how he spoke was different from going to church. Man, my dad, we grew up going to church. My dad was doing youth group and stuff, but I was when I ditched and rode my skateboard and then came back when it was over so I can go back in the car and stuff like that. But, growing up and then having like that part of me there kind of made me realize, oh, well, I don't get it. It's mainly for adults. It wasn't until I was older and then realized, okay, he spoke different. That video spoke different. That's where, like, I think more conversational, not so like scripture-based nonstop where it helps change. So
yeah, you can't understand scripture if you don't, like, if I'm just quoting things to you, one, I could take it out of context, and two, I don't know that you understand it, right? So I don't even know if I understand it, right? And I was working at a church where that was my job, and I'll be blatantly honest, like, sometimes I don't understand the scripture. It's not all like, you know what I mean? Like it's interpreted different. But would you say you were a misfit growing up?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So if you were in my youth ministry, you would have been the kid that I gravitated to.
Okay.
I would have like went skating with you and like hung out with you and
to talk to me.
Not just talk to you, but just like, dude, I just felt like I related more with you, right? So I would spend my kind of attention towards you because I felt like you needed it more than the pastor's kid, you know what I mean? Or whatever,
Yeah, because that's probably would have got me actually to go back to the class because, we were always the one that moved around and then showed up to a new church because then my dad always tried so hard to, like, be involved. And then he ended up screwing everything up because he was a jackass most of the time. So shout out to you, Pops. Not so much anymore now. We're good. But I talk about this. I talk to him about that stuff too, just the perception of, I guess, how I seen church until now. Now I understand, I get it because I'm going through and it's more relatable. I understand.
Right.
It's nothing against any of the churches, how they pastor and stuff. I just feel like the vibe, you have to understand when you're going there. And music's a big part of it too. Like we talked to Josiah about, like, if the music's a huge part. Like if I don't rock with the music, it's hard to show up and then, and I know we're not supposed to, but it's like how not to, like, to feel more. It's like more comfortable, I guess. You feel comfortable, like, yeah, I like this.
You should roll up to an all acapella church. Oh, they're wild. I'm like, what's going on here right now? Oh yeah, hymnals.
You ever seen that? Yeah. Did you go to Grace Fest?
No.
So we had that out. Is it called Grace Fest? Was it called that? It was out here, right? He went to that recently. A couple big artists.
Who was performing? Was it like
Danny Goki.
Okay, cool.
Nobody knows him, but yeah.
God, sweet.
So it's pretty cool. We have that big old the skate park, and then we have like the amphitheater right there that they built. So we had quite a few.
I think
artists.
Wasn't Maverick City Music out here recently?
Yeah, last year.
They were here for that same event, but last year. Okay, cool, yeah.
So we just found out who they were because Josiah
they
started
got a cool
bringing
vibe.
out the music. And I was
Yeah.
like, hey, it's been a while since I've.
But you know what's crazy about them is, like, there was the guy that's part of their collective that just basically got kicked out, right? Yeah, because of his, because of his opinions. But I feel like if I was being real 100% of the time back when I was at a church, in a pastoral role, or if any real pastor out there, or just people in leadership roles in churches, if they were being honest 100% of the time, all the time, and didn't put on a fake, like, church face, they would probably also be kicked out of their collective as well. Because, like, he got kicked out from what I understand, for liking certain types of music. A video was taken of him, like, dancing to Bad Bunny, and things like that are kind of like what hurt the church, because it's like, I don't know, man. Like, there's this weird, like, missing contextual piece there of, like, hey, we're supposed to be different, but how do we relate to people who, like, are not different?
It went back to what you said about when you tell someone that you're this, and it's not even just like I'm a Christian or business, I'm this, or I do this. It's like they hold you all of a sudden to this well, you have to be there because
Right.
you obviously believe in that. I'm like, hold on, bro. I'm just like you, man.
Yeah.
I believe in you can too, but don't hold me to this like
Right.
fictitious, like level of like, damn, man, I don't even hold myself to that.
Right.
We're going to both be disappointed. Dang, man.
Let's shift gears a little bit. I didn't really speak much there because, I mean, I grew up Catholic.
Okay.
So I was just going back and forth listening to you guys. I grew up Catholic, and repetitive stuff to me too the same.
It's probably, what was it, in Spanish too?
In Spanish,
Right.
and it's Sundays consistently every Sunday. But the day before, my uncles, my dad was all getting drunk, showing up to church, all hungover. So
Sure.
I was like, what's going on here? Like, it didn't make a sense as a kid as well. As I got older, I was like, okay, this is kind of not for me. So I don't categorize myself in anything. I'm a believer in God. My connection with Him is strong, I feel like. So that's my interpretation in this conversation. So I won't feel left out. But so let's shift gears a little bit back to you about being a real estate agent in Santa Clarita. I used to work out there as a plumber, and I think that's how you know me. So what is your favorite spot to go eat?
To go eat?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna give a mad shout out here, and I hope I get free tacos.
Damn.
But there's this little Mexican spot called El Patio Tapatio, right on Soledad in Canyon Country, right by the movie theater. That's a major shout out right there.
I'm gonna have to go check it out.
Check them out. They have really good birria tacos. That's it. I can't roll my
I know. I can't roll that stuff. Birria. That would probably be
Birria
bomb.
tacos.
Birria.
But yeah, it's really, really good. So we go there. They take a long time to get the food ready because they're like making it from scratch and stuff. But I don't mind the wait because the food is really good.
All right.
That's one big thing too. Like, I do not mind waiting when I know that what I'm getting, and I only go to places that I know, like Mi Ranchitos out here. When we go and eat, bro, like legit, we order the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Josiah does, I do, he does. Takes 30 minutes. It's totally fine because it's never a miss. It's always a hit. I stick to my own shit.
You know what is a miss though? When you order DoorDash.
Yeah.
Like, dude.
Yeah,
like,
I know. Sometimes I'm like, what the hell? Where did he get this from? Which location did this come
Right,
from?
yeah, it's like something's wrong with the. Like, I don't know how from point A to point B when you DoorDash it, they always jack you
People's
up.
cars.
It-
People's
They're
cars.
over there eating. You're like, it's
Just they put it on the seat. They slam their brakes. It falls off.
But I think I've probably given DoorDash about $20K in terms of like their little commission or whatever. In terms of because we just order it so often, it's crazy
You still order it?
all the time. And even though I know that I'm gonna get the order wrong, they're gonna miss something completely. It's just the convenience of having
it's the
that.
Convenience, yeah.
Yeah.
We do it all the time. I still DoorDash. We DoorDash because if not, sometimes we can't call them and order. So then I'm trading my time at that moment. And if we're doing stuff, it's just easier. But dude, some of those motherfuckers are weird, bro. Like, and I'm weird, but I be having comment. One guy, he was talking about like women and stuff, like how they don't pay attention and listen to him.
Wait,
I was
when
like,
he drops the food off, you
yeah,
have
dude.
conversation?
And I was
Okay.
just,
I don't even answer the door.
He was like, I get mine from another country. I'm married to another country. And I was just like, bro, like I have daughters and stuff. I was like, okay, dude, just give me my
Give me my food and go.
And the other guy, and they always go like this. What y'all doing in there? It's always like that. It's just weird, dude. Like, so shout out to all the DoorDashers. Don't worry, man. This is how I started that way. Postmates and DoorDash is what I did to save up my money for my first camera.
Well, trip out on this story. I ordered DoorDash once when I was doing an open house at one of my listings.
Okay.
And I ordered Subway, and this dude shows up in a really nice, like a 4Runner, and he's like, "What's going on here?" And I'm like, "It's an open house, come check it out." So he goes in, and he's like, "I'm actually looking for a house right now." Yeah. So I took his info, we exchanged, conversation and stuff, and then right now we're actively looking for a house for him. Like he's one of my clients just off a DoorDash conversation. Typically, I don't answer the door.
Oh,
Like,
you
when
just make them leave.
Yeah. But it was an open house. I was there, and my door was the house was open. So he walked in. But yeah, it's kind of funny because
So closing deals or getting leads from,
Getting
and it's
food.
really just speaking out.
Conversation.
So I get it why when they're ordering and leaving it at your house, let them leave it there because you don't want to really talk business right there.
right.
But somewhere else, what happened? He's over here laughing.
Oh,
That's so funny.
I'll do that next time.
But yeah, I mean, that goes to marketing. So we'll talk a little bit about marketing on your end. how are you getting your leads? How are you closing deals? Where do you feel like a lot of the traction's coming from?
Yeah, I track my leads.
Okay.
100% track them. 30% of them are door knocking,
Okay.
knocking on people's doors in a neighborhood. Another 30% of them are coming from referrals. You know, they call it SOI in our business. It's just like sphere of influence. So people that I know, friends, family, which took a while to kind of gain their trust. People like you know, you sent me a referral once. So like I get referrals from people around me. And then the complete rest of it, the 40% is all social media.
Social media. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's a mixture of videos, of posting.
Yeah. Between Instagram and Facebook, like paid Facebook advertisements that we run, you know, targeted ads, we get leads funneled through there. And then Instagram, especially over the last 3 months, I mean, every day I have a new person reaching out via Instagram. And sometimes those leads are long-term, you know, it's not always a slam dunk in this business. But it's just nurturing and getting them prepared and ready for them to take that next step.
Well, those leads that you're nurturing, if they can take a long time and if you stay on top of mind, they have family.
Absolutely.
They have friends. And if you're there, don't worry, I got you, Alex. He's working with me right now. But and sometimes I feel like it could even be out of guilt. Like I'm not fully working with him yet, but let me give him some for like value back.
Right.
I mean, that's how I'm wired. They'll be like, damn, I feel like he's worked, but let me see if I would naturally want to, you know, help you out too, because we have that relationship now.
Yeah.
But it only works if you stay on top of mine.
And it only works if you're actually like good to your clients.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, you know,
Put
answer
them
the
on your
phone.
list and leave them there.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't want to buy till next year. Leave them alone for 6 months. No.
And you'd be surprised, man. I mean, I think a lot of people think this business is cut and dry. Like, wham, bam, we're good, transactions done. And these things take a long time.
Yes.
I think on average it's 90 to 120 days to go from first conversation to close deal. And that's, I even think that's generous, you know?
And now all deals don't end up smooth. I mean, they'll close, and your relationship will still be good, but not all deals are smooth, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess you're leading me into talking about a bad deal.
We'll get in there. Well, tell me about like a bad deal. Not bad to where like your client was pissed off at you or anything, but just where like it just became like
A headache.
Yeah. And then, you know, explain what that was and then how you were able to navigate your clients, you know, through it.
Here's a cool story. I got a client from, I'm a member of the community's PTA.
Okay.
That was strategic, by the way. My kids go to that school. I was like, I'm going to be something in that PTA. So like my face is there, right? It worked. You know, I got somebody that hit me up. It's like, hey, you know, we're moving to Florida. Need to sell my house. You're the guy. Let's do it. Cool. Sign the contract. As I'm leaving their house, their next door neighbor is like cleaning out their garage. And I'm like curious. I'm like, hey, what's going on? You doing a yard sale? And they're like, oh, no. Our parents passed away, both of them, over the last year, and we're getting ready to sell the house. All right. Ching, you know.
There you go. Right.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, I'm a realtor. We start talking. I sign a contract with them. I got 2 contracts, 2 neighbors right next to each other, same day, right? Which is like, I'm like, great, this is awesome. You know, I'm going to hold a joint open house at the same time. You know, I can kind of do a 2-for-1 thing in terms of marketing, in terms of paying for stuff, you know, it was cool, you know, but it was right when the market shift happened.
Gotcha.
Right. So it went from being like we could sell homes easily to like we actually got to work. So my clients on both ends were kind of like 50-50. Like I thought we would be able to sell this very quick. Right. And I had to kind of explain to them through the market. So that already they had an expectation of this and it was like a little lower of a bar. Eventually, you know, we got their house in escrow, which was great. But the original client, the guy that got into escrow, we went about 15 days and they started having issues with their loan. The buyer started messaging my seller directly, asking if he could purchase things. And that's kind of a no-no. You want to separate the two.
Yeah.
You want to be the intermediate. So I kind of had to be the bad guy and kind of fix the situation. And then the buyer's lender disappears.
Oh.
And now we're like supposed to be closing escrow and the buyer's lender disappears according to the buyer. So I'm trying to salvage the whole thing. I'm calling up my lender. I'm like, hey, can you take a look at this guy's financials, see if you can represent him? My lender loves it because he just got a referral, right? So my lender's like jumping through hoops. I'm trying to explain to my seller, like, I'm trying to save this for you. We don't want to put it back on the market. You know, if we do, you're going to lose about 20, 30K,
Yeah.
you know, because the prices just keep dropping. We want to hold this guy in place. So what should have been a 30-day escrow turned into like a 45-day, which isn't too bad. And I think for some agents, that's pretty typical. But it was just a lot of work on my behalf, because I felt like, and I really shouldn't be saying this because the buying agent might be listening, but I kind of felt like I was doing the job for the buying agent.
Yeah.
Like I went out and I found the lender, but I made it work, and it happened and the deal closed. But it was just kind of a headache, a lot more work than I thought it would have been. I should have charged more.
Right. Well, when we think about that, and I mean, we just take that in consideration as you move forward of the type of scenarios that happen. And again, these are such big transactions, especially in that circumstance, from one place to another place, from selling one to buying another one. Those are usually tough because you can't sell one until you buy the other, but you can't buy the other one because you're transferring the money over. So yeah, it's good job on handling that.
Yeah, it was tough. Shouts to my wife.
Everything went through and all that.
Yeah, they're closed and they're good. Clients
There we
out
go.
closed, yeah.
There you go. So you also relocate and help relocation and
Yes.
stuff like that. So that's a big thing. So if you are guys in the Santa Clarita Valley, or you know someone that is looking to
I have
sell.
a really cool program. I don't think anybody else is doing this. I'll tell anybody listening. If a realtor is relocating you and referring you to another realtor, they're getting paid for that. They're getting 20 to 30% off your next purchase is going into your original realtor's pocket. What I do is I give that referral money directly to you. So I don't pocket any of it. So if I get, $3,000-$4,000 just on a referral, I'm giving that directly to you to relocate. So I have a relocation plan. We put it under contract. And that's key. I've got about 5 or 6 deals closed with people relocating to Texas, to Florida, areas like that through that program.
And that helps. I mean,
cool.
yeah, they got a lump sum of money, but that helps because they're about to switch their entire lives up from one state to another.
Moving's
You
not
know how much
cheap.
it costs to move? I had a client move from California to Connecticut.
How much?
They loaded up a truck and it was over $8,000 just
See?
to
Just to move
relocate their items.
And that's just that. Like, yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, you have anything on your end? I'm gonna.
What's the place to live in Santa Clarita?
The place to live?
Yeah.
Well, that's a matter of perspective, right?
Of course, that's why.
What? Okay. What's the most desired that it's very rare that a house becomes available and.
Yeah. In terms of rarity, I think that there's a good kind of turnover rate out there. So no matter where you're looking, you're going to find something. There are particular, high end, quote unquote, areas. Sand Canyon, out in Canyon Country, is pretty high end. There's a place called the Woodlands in Valencia, which is, those are both $1 million areas.
Okay.
I kind of trip out a little bit on Santa Clarita because there's a perspective and a thought process that Valencia is super high end. Canyon Country is kind of a little bit on the lower end. And there are definitely parts that you can say that, but as a whole, Canyon Country, which is where I live, that's why I'm kind of shouting it out. Canyon Country, if you were to combine all of Valencia, all of Stevenson's Ranch, all of Newhall, all of Saugus, right? All of it combined is still less than just Canyon Country.
So I believe that too, because I think Canyon Country looks more expensive. I would move there before of any of the other places because I feel like you have more land. It's just not so much city vibe, but dollar houses there too in that little area and
in Sand Canyon,
in
Canyon Country. Yeah, well, there's an area called Sand Canyon.
Okay.
And that's like horse territory, old money.
So I've been in that area where where
and that's where the bulk of that comes from. Beautiful area, but those houses, the $1 million homes sit for a while.
Yeah.
No one's out there buying $3 million homes. Like the right person is buying those homes, But we do, I'm part of a collective called What's Up SCV. And we do kind of video work where we highlight like the least expensive home sold last month or the most expensive home sold last month. So we kind of chart all of that. And I do like a little kind of update on what those things are. And it's so funny because there's so much comments.
Yeah.
Just
it's engagement. People want to know, man. So what was the most expensive home?
So the most recent one we did was September. There was a home up in Valencia. It was like 2.2 mil. And so in the video, I had made a little comment like, do you guys think it was worth it? And I was like, it wasn't, like in the video.
Yeah.
So many people were mad that I did that. They just were like kind of trashing me. And I you know, it's funny because there's a lot of trolls out there. But when you look at the negative comments and then you click who liked it, I took screenshots. All realtors.
Yeah, it's
all realtors.
They're
And,
like,
yeah, so I got the screenshot. So if I ever interact with one of you haters, like I'll make a joke about it, you know.
so the most entertaining are the ones that are eating hot chips, that are just talking and having fun. And we can still talk about real estate, but now we're just trying to make it entertaining for the person that doesn't want to buy a house. You know, like that's who we're catering to get them to be like, what? Someone wrote like about that deal. Oh, that's not even that much. Like, I want more of that type of stuff.
Right.
We want the hating.
I was gonna
comments.
write that this morning, but I don't want to be a hater.
I know, no. We want that because, like, we don't, because this shouldn't be. Like, in our market where we're at, like, damn, dude, that's, you know, like, that's not, you know, damn, for all those deals.
80?
Buyers out here, buyer agents out here are making more money than him. He's a listing agent.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's just different markets, but I like that because we want that content, and I feel like it's not even like a disrespectful thing. Ask like, shit, I really want to know, like, how, why, and he'll be, oh, okay, I totally get it now.
Right.
Like, I want to hear that. Yeah. So we have one. The other one he called one of our guys. He only has one deal, and his reaction though, he's like, man, just one.
Oh man.
Man, I'm probably not gonna make that much. It was still like 8-10 grand. I was like, oh, you're crazy. That's still a lot of money to us. Like, I just want. And then we give them, keep crushing it, keep your spirits to go get it. And that's the whole purpose is to, so people know, like, yo, he's making that, like, that's a solid check. I can do that shit too.
Right.
Like,
And that's just in one deal. Not to mention if he gets more deals.
But what you don't understand is like the money that you shell out, dude. Like,
I know.
the overhead is wild.
Yep.
I mean, you have a business, you understand. I think that's why a lot of realtors fail, because they don't see it like a business.
No, it's more like, I got that deal, a lot of money, and then go and hang out. And that's why a lot of them, I follow a lot of them. They're out every weekend, and I'm like,
so how do you stay focused?
oh, hold on, we won't save all this shit. Are you ready to go?
He's recording. You're recording?
Oh,
Yes,
damn. Did we need clap? Or did we clap? I don't know, dude. We just started talking.
It'll sync it up.
Okay. So going back, so we jumped back on course. So you said the whole $2.2 million.
Oh yeah, most expensive.
So what was the least?
So there's one right now that's 530 something. I don't remember the exact number. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in Canyon Country. We just recorded that one. That's why I know. Little probate listing. You know, someone died in there, and you know, so it's a little cheaper. Purchased as is, you know, but still, you know, 535 for Canyon Country. I mean, you're averaging what, like in the sevens. For a 3-year, you know, it's going down right now, but it's still a good deal. I think, you know, I would jump on that if I could.
That's like already equity right there, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, you might have to put a little work into the home, but you know, it's a great starter home for somebody. You know what I mean?
And then the area is.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So then, so we got the most expensive from September, and then the least expensive. Damn, dude, still $500,000, huh?
Yeah.
It's the least expensive. So you guys
Out there for sure. Yeah.
You don't know where Santa Clarita, Valencia, Canyon Country, San Canyon, all that is.
If this becomes a clip though, there's gonna be some hater that's like, oh, what? You know, there's condos for 300. We're talking about single family.
Yeah,
homes.
single family homes, not condos
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Because if it's too expensive, I guess hit him up. He'll bring you out here to the AV, and
I will. AV's great. I love it
get
out
a
here.
3 to 400K, and those are very slim now. 400Ks, I'm starting to see a lot more. I don't see 200 anymore.
There's 3s for sure. There was just one out here in Palmdale for 139, a probate listing.
Damn, man, what about that shit?
Yeah. Well, there was a little bit of a bid war, obviously.
Okay,
right?
yeah,
know,
you were
but,
at all the.
Yeah.
Alex and them would have been here trying to buy that one.
I put a bid on it, like, because that's doable money. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you finance that, you're good. You know, you get a renter in there, and you're making cash flow off top. You know, even if you put 50K into that, you know, you're still into repairs and rehab. You know, so, but I'm not like big pockets like Camacho and them, where I can compete with, you know, those kind of.
Do you feed them deals or?
For sure. I've done deals with Alex. There's a guy that works for him, Alex Camacho.
Yeah.
There's a guy that works for him that I've known through church for a long time. And he started doing his own like flips, and he works for Alex. So
Okay.
I'll send him stuff if it works in their box. Every investor has like a box where It's not going to make sense to them unless it fits that box. And I think that's what a lot of agents don't know.
Okay.
And I think that's what a lot of the general public don't know. Like there's overhead, there's expenses, and then there's like purchase price. And if it doesn't fit in that box, they don't even want the deal. So I know what Alex likes, so I will give him stuff that comes up in that.
So for the ones that are listening, the ones that are watching, they are an investor, if you're an investor, do you take on clients that are investors? Is that something that they can contact you for?
Yeah. If you're an investor and you are looking for something, and I know what your box is, as weird as that sounds, if I know what your box is, then I'll keep that in mind if I come across deals, right?
Yeah, so they can reach out to you if they want to ever, invest in the Santa Clarita Valley or the surrounding areas.
Yeah.
This is the guy to go to.
And Alex is the one that we did for him. It was like a Hollywood, really nice Hollywood area property that he kind of completely renovated, and that's his spot when he stays out here now.
Okay,
So
okay.
he Airbnbs it, but when he's out here, he stays in that place. So it's a cool spot.
There we go. We met him a while back. We've been rocking with him for a while now. All of his events since he started,
That's cool.
Yeah, we've been capturing all
I
of
never
them.
met him in person.
Okay.
Yeah, just behind the scene deals,
Yeah, Alex and Will. I met Will first, and then Alex, and then we just Eli and all the little crew and stuff, and that expanded us into all the being around more investors, a lot of rookie investors and stuff like that. Because of our clients are like half agents, half investors.
That's cool.
We kind of stick to real estate for now.
Yeah,
it just works, dude. When you niche down, it's like you don't have to worry too much about every other industry, what's going on, because video marketing can go so
anywhere
big, bro.
I was just pitching these guys before you got here. I was like, you guys should go after like the city council members. You see all this, they're shelling out a lot of money right now for advertising. None of them are doing this kind of stuff. And they're like, yeah, it's not our thing.
Part to them, it doesn't seem exciting.
Right.
It's not creating. I get that part. But I'm in the world of business now more than, it's creating, but I look at business because we have payroll, overhead, mouths to feed, families and stuff like that. Yeah. But I will fucking look into that. And we're coming after you, AV Chambers of Commerce.
Every election cycle, you just they got money to spend, man. They're trying to get the.
I'm just bringing them on, having them film out. I mean, we got 2 new sets coming. She'll be here after we're done here. She's painting that wall. Nice. Well, I'm going to show you everything with the lights on and stuff.
Dude, in the last 3 months, this place has evolved so much. It's crazy.
It's now what we have to do, right? I mean, maximizing. It's that, I think I got it from Stephen Furtick, maximizing your opportunities of what you've been given was a post from him. And that's what it is. Like, we've been given this, we got it. Are we maximizing this before thinking of what's next? Mm-hmm. Are we maximizing all of our space, being creative to attract people?
Right.
We're in the business to attract, man.
Yeah.
Like, once that's done, we have videos we're going to be doing to attract other agents out here, other offices to use it. Like, if you don't want to use us, totally fine. You can use the room for your guys. We'll have the equipment, cool. But if you need the production team, we also can offer like an office retainer to produce content for just send them over here. They get a special deal or something like that, or it's $100, $200 off to come and we'll just put that on contract for like a year or something like that.
That's sweet.
Then I know the guys everyone's taken care of for the year, bro. Like just they give them a discount. But
the overhead's crazy, man. And you got the right business mind, and it's rare. There's some people that are very charismatic, some people who are very business minded, but you kind of got to have both, really, if you want to succeed, or at least have somebody on your team who is what you're not. You know what I mean? Especially like with real estate, dude. Some of these guys, man, like we were talking about earlier, like you mentioned, there's agents you see partying every weekend. If they're a new agent, January, February, March is going to hit, and their taxes are going to be like all that money's just gone, or they're going to have to pay all that money out. And if they're not already thinking about that, they're now behind the curve. You know what I mean? So there's little things that like you really kind of got to treat it like a business. You have to.
And the pipeline, right? I mean,
the pipeline
going into January, if you don't have clients, like you're starting fresh, and I've seen that last year, the year prior, just being on the team, and some of the team agents, the newer ones were just like, I don't got nothing. It's like, bro, you should have been making those calls as the broker told you. I was right there.
Yeah,
like,
right now you got to put your foot on the gas. You have to. have to, you know. If you're not, you're failing forward right now. You know what I mean? Just I don't. That's the wrong term, but you're just failing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah. Because okay, so one thing we talked about here in the office, we have it written down, our goals. So what do we want? Do we want clients right now, or do we want to just focus on branding and content?
Mhm.
Right now, we're getting to the holidays. The real estate market slows down a bit. So would clients really be the smartest thing? Or do we just focus on the content, which will bring the clients and start the relationship building now?
Right.
So that January comes in, now you have a whole new budget for marketing for the year.
Right.
Some people their contract ends with certain people and they're looking for a new marketing team. So I feel like now would be the best time. We're building relationships. So what are you going to be doing for the next 3 months, or what are you focusing on for your real estate business?
Yeah, I mean, the goal would be when I enter December, I have 3 to 8 like clients in the pipeline to close in January.
Okay, so that's like already a
snowball push, right? So I'm kind of building out the clients, and it's a consistent flow of people that I'm working with, and that works, you know. So that's going on there. But I definitely have stepped, like I said, I stepped my foot on the gas for some of my content creation, the video work that we're doing, advertising. In Santa Clarita, there's probably one other realtor who's spending as much money as I am, and that guy's big business. So I already know like who my competition is, and I'm spending. I want to be at that level.
yeah,
right?
and that's where you're going towards, and you know the value in the investment. So
right.
That's important, right?
Yeah. So a lot of people will tell you right now, especially in this industry, invest in property, and it's true. Like invest in property, you should. It's a good investment. But before I start investing in property, I need to invest in myself, right? Because how am I going to start investing in property if I'm not, you know?
Yeah, I was like, boo. He's like, wait, which one? All of them.
But it's completely accurate, and I feel like too many people in any industry, they just jump in and they think like it's going to happen for them. But if you're not pouring back into yourself, not just learning, but financially and all of it, right? You're not going to make that progress that you want, you know?
Do you have a coach or a mentor and stuff?
I absolutely have a coach. Yeah, I have 2 coaches. I have a social media coach, and then I have a business coach.
Who's your social media coach?
His name is John Story. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's out of Arizona, works with title and realtors specifically.
Okay.
He has a little bit of a different approach than his is all about tracking. It's not really about content creation. It's about like kind of consistently having content, but he's not talking about what kind of content to make. It's just have content, right? But make sure you're tracking, make sure you're documenting who you're communicating with, how often you're communicating with that person. You know, I'm super surgical, man. Like I look at my likes, I look at my like people who like follow, and I look, and if there's somebody new, a face I've never seen, I'm like messaging them, just connecting with them, put it in my log, talk to this person on this date. You know, I just feel like that's my CRM, that's my business builder, that's my Rolodex. You know, I use social media for that. And yeah, that's my SOI. I try to use Instagram as my SOI, my sphere of influence.
That's super cool, because that's something I would definitely want to get into. So I'm going to pick your brain more about that, on what they offer, what type of service you get out of that. And I'll pick your brain a little later on that. So you have a social media coach, which I think is extremely important.
Yeah.
Because tracking, I mean, you can have all the content in the world, but if it's not going anywhere, or you're not keeping track of where it's going nowhere.
Right.
So otherwise you spend a lot of money and then be pissed off at your videographer.
Right. Yeah.
Hey man, the videos aren't working. Dude, you didn't do anything with them.
Right.
Just
yeah.
upload and walked away.
Dude, content's content. I mean, I use you guys for a lot of my content creation on a consistent basis. But I sprinkle in some of my own stuff. Obviously the higher end, nicer, complete packages that I put out get a lot more response than some of the like stuff that I'll put out, right? There's a glaring difference. But you have to invest in that.
Yeah.
You know, like if you want to be one of the best, you got to try to have the best product, right? And in order for people to utilize my product, which is me, my real estate expertise, they got to like what I'm saying. And I utilize you guys to help me with that. And I'm grateful for that, you know?
But I like that how you said that you sprinkle your own stuff, because it's not necessarily just about the high quality, high end content. It looks great, but it's the message. It's about showing up. So if you can't get there to where you don't have the full funds to invest like that, you can start, And that's where it should be. Like, you were already producing content. You just came to us because you wanted to go to that next level with
Right.
the micro. And now, because you're with us and we talk and you follow and we follow each other, your content is growing on its own. And ultimately, bro, I personally don't want the agents to always have to come to us. The goal for me would be them to understand, and we teach, and then you're able to do it on your own until you decide, I don't want to do this. I'll let a team do it. But I also want the agents that do want to convert into an influencer one day to be able to do it themselves. So
Right.
I love that fact that you still work with us and then you still create the content, because it's not about us or the high quality what we offer. It's about you and the content.
Right. Right.
So, yeah, it's good to see that. What were you going to say?
What
Boss?
made you get coaches? Because I know some people that have their own business don't get coaches till like years after, or like, you know what, I think about getting a coach now.
Yeah. Well, it's a two-part thing. It's based on what you said and then based on what you said. To succeed, I feel like you cannot be cheap. So you made a comment that, like, until you have enough money to pay for certain things. Let's be honest. If you're doing real estate and you're doing at least 5 deals a year here in this market, you have money.
Yeah.
You have no excuse to be like, I can't afford that. Don't buy the shoes. Don't buy the new outfit. Get a car that actually works for you, not, something fancy. You have the money, invest in yourself. So that's one thing, right? So as far as coaching and like money and stuff like that, I fully believe that like the best people have a good team around them. And I know that from the beginning, from stuff that I've done in my life before real estate. I know that you need somebody, one, to hold you accountable, and two, you don't know everything, and somebody that's going to teach you and kind of correct you, right, when you're doing something wrong or you say something stupid. And I feel like both of my coaches do that for me, right?
Okay.
And what's cool is like I'll come with some outside of the box crazy ideas, and my coach would be like, that's a little wild, like that's a little extra, but do it anyways. He's like, do it anyways, because you have a track record of doing some crazy stuff and it works, But yeah, like I think I knew from the beginning I needed a coach. I had a coach. I hired my coach the day that I got my license.
Right on.
Yeah, I was listening to like a podcast on the way to San Diego to take my real estate license test, just trying to get more information to kind of fill my head, right? And I came across this like couple that they're real estate coaches and they have a podcast. And I'm driving up there listening to them, like, this stuff's really good. Take my test. I pass, because they let you know that day.
Yeah.
So I pass. I'm driving back, and they're like, if you need us as a real estate coach, reach out. No money in my pocket. It was $2,000 off top, just to use them. And I never met them. They're social media, like they're Spotify people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never met them in real life, put it that way. And I used them for an entire year. And after that first year of being in business, I knew I had I got a lot from them, but I needed to transition to a in-person, real life person that I can tangibly like meet with, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I shifted to that just recently as well. But
If you don't mind me asking, what's roughly an estimate of you would pay for an agent to pay for coaching? What that you've seen and that you've paid,
So just starting out, I thought $2,000 was a lot of money. Like I was unemployed.
especially with no
Yeah,
money, you
yeah,
just
yeah.
got your license, no clients.
So I was able to pay them $200 a month until for the year or whatever. And so it was a little more than $2,000,
Yeah.
right? So I was doing that. Halfway through, I met this social media coach guy, and it's roughly the same amount, like $250, $300 a month to kind of work with him and his system, because it's a system that he has in place. That's really what you're paying for, right?
Yeah.
And then my most recent coach actually was like, I reached out to him. He's the broker of Century 21. And I reached out to him and I said, hey, I'm shopping for a new coach. Like, do you recommend anyone? Because I really look up to this guy. He's funded some of my crazy ideas. Like, he's a cool dude,
Yeah.
And he's like, look, man, give me 3 months with you. I promise you we'll get you to this level. And I'll coach you personally. It's like, all right, that works. Yeah. So for him, like, I'm not paying him per se, but he is my broker, so he gets a little cut of everything. So my kind of success is in his best interest for sure.
It's a win-win, man.
Yeah.
So the reason why I asked, so if you're an agent, or even if you're an entrepreneur, like the coaching, it's good, from social media coaches to, there's coaches in every industry.
Yeah.
And they're there for a reason. So whichever industry you are in, it is recommended to start off right away to invest that money, like you mentioned. I mean, $2,000 does sound like a lot to some of us, but it comes back. It's like almost like you're lending the money out. You're gonna get it back. Just believe in yourself enough so that the investment. I have zero problems with investing, like in myself, buying equipment, because I've already spent some time on whether or not we needed that drone that we just bought. It's been in my mind constantly. I've been talking about it, and I was like, all right, it's time. We need something different. We want to stand out different, and it's going to happen with the drone that's not as seen as much in real estate. It's starting to come on the luxury ones, but we're going to bring that to our market.
Yeah.
So I like that.
I have a personal saying.
Yeah.
And I started using this saying right when I was about to make a huge decision, a big money decision on, and the trade-off, like, would it be worth it to do, this particular thing for my business? And I was struggling with it. And I was sitting there thinking, why am I struggling with this? This is what I want. I want to take it to the next level. So I was like, you know what? No hesitation. Just run it. Just do it, right? And so I pulled the trigger on that. And, it hurts. Like, you just see, like, bank account drops, right? But no hesitation, man. The longer I sit and think about it, there's more excuses to not do it. And that could be considered foolish to some people maybe, but I just feel like if I have a goal, I'm going to do what I can to reach that goal. And,
It's just money.
It's just money.
It's money, and money's used as a tool, and you spend it, you
get it
some
back.
more.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's when some people put a lot of value into money. Oh, I can't spend that. I need it just in case. Just in case of what?
Right.
I mean, anything can happen. If we really wanted to analogy, anything can happen. But, well, how about what if something good can happen? Just use it now, and just in case something great is going to happen, choose a mindset. So a year and a half, a little like 16 months.
Yeah.
16 months in the real estate industry. Crazy transition during COVID from a pastor into real estate, backed up by his wife. I love it. Teamwork, baby, right there. The face of Santa Clarita Valley, all of that area, because, again, I see him on posts that aren't his. I see him on other people's posts, which is great. You see him also in the Antelope Valley and then Los Angeles County pretty much. So if you guys have deals and you're a real estate investor, or you're a person like me who's looking to buy or their second house or their first home, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, Instagram. Hit me up on Instagram, my name with a IV. People are like, what is that? I'm the fourth. So
there you go, the fourth.
Yeah,
We'll have it popped up right here where you guys can reach out to him. If you don't feel comfortable on the DM,
no, feel comfortable.
There you go. Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah. What you see here is like how I talk. Like I'm not, you get me. You're not talking to like I don't know, like a bot
robot
or
anything like that.
I don't do any auto responses or things like that. So.
You're right. I do see those.
Yeah. They're terrible.
Like, what do you
don't
mean?
do that, guys. Don't do
like,
auto
you
responses.
just seen it and you replied with this dumb message.
You're not that busy.
I was like, you were at Subway. I just seen you right now. I'm just responding to say hi. But again, and then within the next 3 months, he is pretty much doubling down on ads, on content, on building relationships going into 2023. Appreciate you, man, for driving out here. As we get older and become adults and more successful, time is something we don't get back. So time's valuable, and appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
Blessing this audience, you guys. So, of course, if you found this valuable, any value in this episode today, please like, comment, subscribe, share to someone who could benefit off of this. Because, again, you can change your life when the world was pretty much on fire, telling you, be scared. You can transition into something that you want. So don't hold back. Never too old. Go after it. But it's hard work. Find a team player, right? I think that's it. How are you guys?
Good.
We're out of here. Finding Happiness, episode 9, I believe. See you later. Peace.
Later.
Nice.
Go.